People across Texas are losing their minds over more than 2 million feral hogs. Animals capable of turning an entire year of hard work into rubble overnight. These hogs drain $119 million from Texas agriculture every year, while the rest of the country mostly watches from the sidelines, some even laughing at their misery. But then a quiet turning point emerged. Instead of fighting alone, several communities chose to synchronize trapping, hunting, and surveillance into a single coordinated system. Rather than chasing hogs from one farm to the next, they began boxing them in within weeks. The results started spreading across entire counties. So what allowed Texas to turn an agricultural nightmare into an organized war construction? AI reveals the full story in this video. Feral hogs aren't native to North America. They were brought by European explorers and settlers who released pigs as mobile food for long journeys. Over time, some escaped, others were abandoned, and many were crossbred with European wild boars imported for sport hunting in the 19th and 20th centuries. This created a dangerous hybrid, large, intelligent, highly adaptable, and reproducing at extreme rates. The southern United States, with its warm climate, abundant water, and vast open land, became ideal for expansion. Texas paid the heaviest price, where feral hogs behave like an army without borders, constantly pushing into new territory. In 2004, Jay Norman was planting corn in Fannin County when he turned his tractor and saw more than 100 feral hogs eating the seeds he'd just planted. Seeds that touched the soil minutes earlier were already dug up and gone. Norman stood frozen as the hogs moved in organized lines along the corn rows, tearing up each furrow. Hours of labor and significant money vanished in moments. This wasn't random. It was the moment Texas began facing an entirely new kind of problem. 20 years earlier, Norman had seen similar scenes on other farms and thought they were rare exceptions. Now it had arrived on his field with no signs of stopping. From then on, Norman replanted multiple acres every year. Seeds, fuel, labor, and time were constantly poured back, not because of weather or disease, but because feral hogs had learned to recognize corn planting equipment, watching patterns patiently and waiting until the tractor moved far enough away before striking. According to Texas Parks and Wildlife, farmers and ranchers lose about $119 million annually based on 2019 data. By 2025, when crop losses and property damage are included, total losses have surged to nearly $500 million. The scale of destruction goes far beyond what most imagine. Entire fields are wiped out overnight, forcing farmers to start from scratch. The problem is no longer limited to rural areas. Feral hogs have moved into cities like Irving, damaging lawns, parks, and school grounds. Corn is their favorite target, though they also damage soybeans and wheat. Some farmers switch to different crops, but that only shifts the target. The real danger isn't just the number of hogs, but their extraordinary ability to adapt at incredible speed. Norman tried every familiar method: traps, bait, dogs. The result was always the same. At best, impact was temporary. Hogs weren't eliminated. They were pushed to neighboring fields, only to return once pressure eased. That wasn't a solution. It was passing the problem to someone else. Trapping sounds effective in theory, but becomes an endless loop. Norman knows farmers who trapped 200 to 300 hogs yearly, yet those numbers barely make a dent. With explosive reproduction rates, surrounding populations replace losses within months. You're fighting exponential growth with isolated linear efforts. Worse, feral hogs aren't dumb. They learn to avoid traps, change feeding times, and steer clear of heavily hunted areas. Traditional methods simply can't keep up anymore. Texas didn't discover a single secret weapon. What they built was a layered control system where each piece reinforces the others. Smart traps equipped with cameras and mobile connectivity were deployed statewide. Farmers set up corral traps baited with corn, with cameras streaming live footage to their phones. Feral hogs move in to feed, unaware every step is monitored. Once the entire sounder is inside, the gate closes with a tap from anywhere. Traditional traps catch one or two animals or trigger too early. Smart traps wait for entire groups, removing whole populations in one move. Setup costs thousands, plus ongoing fees. But compared to replanting 160 acres at $400 per acre, they pay for themselves after one prevented disaster. Neighbors often split costs, sharing systems across properties. Hogs must be trained over 10 to 14 days, with gates gradually lowered. In fast-spreading hot zones, Texas needed something more aggressive. Companies like Heli Bacon began turning helicopters into tools for invasive species control. At dawn, customers climb into helicopters, flying low over Texas farmland with heavy weapons to eliminate feral hogs, destroying crops below. From above, everything becomes visible. Pilots spot daytime bedding areas hidden in thick brush, identify movement between feeding zones, and track hogs crossing terrain completely inaccessible to vehicles. This aerial intelligence gives farmers a clear picture of hog movement, something years of ground observation could never fully piece together. Hunts typically last around 2 hours, beginning at sunrise during peak feeding times. Packages start at $4,000 per person. In Texas, no hunting license is required on private land with the landowner's permission. The effectiveness is real, but even those involved acknowledge the limits. Aerial hunting is powerful, but it cannot stand alone. It works best as one strike within a larger system where pressure is applied continuously from ground to sky. Texas approved war-grade poisons for feral hogs. This is controlled chemical warfare, precise and regulated. Users must undergo training and certification. Bait sites are fenced to exclude livestock and non-targets. Stations use guillotine doors or magnetic mechanisms requiring force only hogs can manage. Landowners gradually transition hogs from corn to non-toxic placebo bait. Only after hogs learn to open feeders is poison introduced. The process takes 10 to 14 days, with doors lowered step by step. Entire sounders of 20 to 30 hogs are eliminated in coordinated strikes. When implemented correctly, this removes hogs faster than ground methods. Even with smart traps, helicopter hunting, and poison, Texas needed one more element. These solutions kept failing because farmers acted alone. One farm trapped while neighbors kept hogs for hunting. One county hunted while the next did nothing. Hogs moved wherever pressure was lowest. Texas realized the problem was how tools were used. Methods working on single farms become meaningless if neighbors don't participate. The turning point came with campaign thinking. Control programs were organized at scale, multiple farms and counties operating simultaneously with the same strategies. Pressure became constant. Hogs lost escape routes. When regions coordinated hunting, trapping, and chemical control on shared schedules, populations dropped and stayed down. Technology was shared. Trap cameras redrew movement maps across property lines. Real-time networks allowed rapid response when herds shifted. As more areas joined, gaps closed. Texas started looking beyond reducing numbers to stopping returns. Research programs now develop methods rendering hogs infertile by targeting hormones without killing them. The challenge is delivering contraceptive bait across vast areas and preventing non-target access. Meanwhile, thermal imaging makes night hunting overwhelmingly effective. Drones map movement patterns and identify choke points, turning wildlife management into tactical problem solving. The results appeared much faster than many expected. Areas once considered untouchable hotspots began to change after just weeks of sustained pressure. Damage didn't disappear entirely, but it dropped to a manageable level. Across Texas, regions using coordinated multi-method controls saw hog populations drop by 60 to 70% within 2 years, with crop losses falling accordingly. The fight against feral hogs in Texas makes one thing clear: there is no single silver bullet capable of solving a systemic problem. Only when technology, strategy, and people are connected into a coordinated network does the balance truly begin to shift. If you want to keep exploring the hidden battles, technologies, and systems shaping the modern world, don't forget to like and follow Construction AI.